Welcome. Have a nice day. Today is Saturday, 1st of July 2023. In the whole world and also in the India, it is celebrated as Doctors' Day, which is observed on the 1st of July to mark the importance of doctors' hold in our lives. This day is also meant to commemorate the medical industry and its advancements. Starting the newspaper analysis with the newspaper The Hindu states that France boosts police presence to quell unacceptable riots. 45,000 police would be deployed across France, and there would also be increased mobilization of special police units. Officers stand guard off in Lille, France on June 30, 2023 during riots following the death of Nahel, a 17-year-old teenager killed by a French police officer in Nanterre during a traffic stop. The Hindu newspaper also states that after a high drama, Manipur Chief Minister Byron Singh drops his resignation plan. Belagoriod, Manipur Chief Minister Nongthombam Byron Singh was stopped by his supporters from resigning on Friday amid high drama in Imphal. Women gathered outside Chief Minister's residence tear up his resignation letter. BJP says Chief Minister decided against quitting to honor people's sentiments. No direction to resign from party leadership, sources say. Manipur Chief Minister N. Byron Singh is surrounded by supporters who had gathered outside his residence in Imphal on June 30, 2023. The Hindu newspaper also states that government approves a 27th tranche of electoral bonds sale from July 3. The sale of the first batch of the electoral bonds happened on March 1, 2018. State Bank of India is also the only authorized bank to issue the electoral bonds. The government on June 30 approved the issue of the 27th tranche of electoral bonds that will open for the sale on July 3. The decision comes ahead of assembly elections of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Telangana and Mizoram. Poll dates are likely to be announced in a couple of months. The State Bank of India's Chennai main branch, State Bank of India, is the only authorized bank is issued as electoral bonds. Going towards the Indian Express newspaper states that Uttarakhand UCC draft ready, likely template for the central law. Gender equality, Muslim women is concerned, focus of panel report. The expert committee for the Union Civil Code in Uttarakhand is all set to submit its report along with the draft of the proposed law to the state government by the end of July. On Friday, Justice Ranjana Prakash Desai, former judge of the Supreme Court, who heads the 5-member expert committee, said that the drafting of the proposed Uniform Civil Code of Uttarakhand is now complete. Indian Express also states that before Tamil Nadu governor stood down on minister dismissal, BJP raised alarm, cleared fallout. Ravi's actions may have only ended up easing the pressure on the DMK on the matter of arrested Minister Senthil Balaji, BJP leaders say. Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi put on hold his unprecedented order dismissing arrested Minister V. Senthil Balaji after the state BJP unit raised an alarm, reportedly reaching out to the central leadership over the blunder. Indian Express also states that Raju and Shabano is mid-1980s to Modi in 2024. Why Uniform Civil Code is back on the front burner? Does the UCC have a Uniform Civil Code have the kind of the traction? Today it didn't in the 80s when it also got linked to the construction of the Ram Mandir. It will undoubtedly spread disquiet among the minority and other communities. Will it galvanize the BJP's base? The Prime Minister Modi's words in Bhopal are a signal that if he returns in 2024, Uniform Civil Code is on his agenda, just as abrogating Article 370 was in less than 3 months of coming to power in 2019. Going towards the Hindustan Times newspaper states that government excludes overseas credit card spends from LRS. The France Ministry finally on midnight Friday amended foreign exchange management rules to exclude international credit card spends from the purview of liberalized remittance scheme hours after the issuing SCBGT circular that no TCS shall be applicable on the expenditure through the international credit card while being overseas till further order. Hindustan Times also states that with the 101 mm rain, Delhi logs its coolest June since 2008. Delhi ended June with a monthly average of maximum temperature of 37 degrees Celsius, making it the coolest June since 2008, when the monthly average maximum was 35 degrees. Indian Meteorological Department data on Friday shows vehicles ply through the waterlogged road ITO after rain in New Delhi on Friday. Arvind Kejriwal government moves Supreme Court over the Centre's Services Ordinance. The Centre's Ordinance, which wrests control from the elected government over services, allowed the union government to take over the governance of the capital. The Delhi government said on the Friday while mounting a legal challenge of the ordinance in the Supreme Court. Going towards the economy of the country, core sector growth pace eases to 4.3% in May. The base growth of 8 key infrastructure sectors slacked to 4.3% in May on account of the decline in the production of the crude oil, natural gas and electricity, according to the data released by the government on Friday. The core sector growth stood at 19.3% in May 2022. There was a decline in the production of crude oil, natural gas and electricity. Apple is now the first public company to be valued at $3 trillion. Apple became the first publicly traded company to close a trading day with a $3 trillion market value, marking another milestone for a technology juggernaut that has reshaped the society with a lineup of products that churn out eye-popping profits. Apple share closed up 2.3% at the $193.97 on June 30, bringing its market value to $3.04 trillion. The Apple logo is seen hanging at the entrance to the Apple Store on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, New York, United States. After stock limits India to import 12 lakh tons of tur dal to keep prices in check. The issue in tur pigeon peas is lower domestic production. The country's tur production remained lower at 30 lakh ton in the 2022-23 crop year, July-June, against 39 lakh ton last year. Facing a sharp rise in turn prices amid lower production, India will import 12 lakh ton of the pulse in the current fiscal up by 35% from the last year to boost domestic availability and contain price rise. Going towards the world news, including Bolsonaro's career record, Brazil's court for majority to bar him for 8 years. United States Supreme Court bans race-based admissions in Harvard, one more university, the TLDR. While in protests riot in France after teens killing over 600 as to stop the press, Vienna newspaper. Wiener Zeitung ends daily print edition after 320 years. Finnish minister resigns over the Nazi references. New legal battles await colleagues after the United States Supreme Court's affirmative action ruling. Policy changes to make healthy food cheaper are the need of the hour to tackle the diabetes epidemic expert. Professor Thomas was speaking at a press conference on June 30 to discuss two recent papers, of which he is one of the authors: Global Inequity in Diabetes First and Global Inequity in Diabetes Second, published in the medical journal The Lancet. Foods like fish, fruits, and vegetables are more expensive, making that this is social determinant. In the rise of cases of diabetes, we have to find ways to cultivate healthier food and maybe provide them through the government schemes to make them more affordable and accessible, said Nihal Thomas, Senior Professor, Department of Endocrinology, Diabetes and Metabolism, Christian Medical College, Vellore, Venkatachalapati. Science and technology. Going towards the science and technology, climate nears a point of no return as land sea temperatures break record exports. The target of keeping long-term global warming within 1.5 degrees Celsius, 2.7 Fahrenheit is moving out of reach, climate expert says. With the nation is failing to set more ambitious goals despite months of record-breaking heat on land and sea. In India, one of the most climate vulnerable regions, deaths were reported to have spiked as a result of sustained high temperatures. The target of keeping long-term global warming within the 1.5 degrees Celsius, 2.7 Fahrenheit, is moving out of reach, climate experts say. Iraq plants mangrove forest to fight climate disaster. Iraq's carbon emissions have more than doubled over the past decade, making it one of the region's worst polluters when measured against the size of its economy. As Ayman al-Rabbani plants mangrove seedling in the sprawling tidal flats of southern Iraq, the black smoke rising over the skyline behind him shows the ecological damage that he is toiling to undo. Mangrove plant seedlings are seen in the mangrove nursery projected to mitigate climate risk in Basra, Iraq, June 21, 2023. At last, there is a famous quotation said by Mirza Beg Asadullah Khan Ghalib, whose birth anniversary is 1797 after 1868. Also known as Mirza Ghalib, was an Indian poet. He was popularly known by the pen name as Ghalib and Asad. His honorific was Dabirul Mulk and Najmud Dawla. During his lifetime, the already declining Mughal Empire was eclipsed and displaced by the British East India Company rule and finally deposed following the defeat of the Indian Rebellion of 1857. These are described through his work. Mirza Ghalib says a famous quotation. He says that the drop grows happy by losing itself in the river. Okay, thank you.